Hello. I think it's live. I think this is working. And I don't think it's that one. I think we're actually plugged into the right one. Hi chat. Hi everyone in the chat. Hi everyone in the VOD squad watching this afterwards. It's a Winter's Talkie Tuesday and I've got some questions. I like to chat with my community on the Tuesday. Most of them are only wanted in about 3 different countries. So you can, if you want to hide some bodies, chat to the chat. That's what I say. Sound is good. Hello, Andy. Hello, Timothy. Hello, Brett. Ike Mike. Hello. And hello to everyone watching this. And hello, especially if you're in the Mug Club. Still 48 of us. We haven't grown. This may be the size of the herd. This may be the size of the Mug Club. This may be it. And if it is, I am with you. I salute all of you. All of you we are saluting. Hi, Killer Kriegsman. What is your think of Reuben sandwiches? What is your think of Reuben sandwiches? I think no. Yes. I think nothing of. I under not. What you think of Reuben sandwiches? I under not, Asco. I under not what will you say of I think of Reuben sandwiches. I do not know what Reuben sandwiches are, and I do what you think grammar is. But might be my phone. What? Hi, the last Imperial. Hello, everyone in the chat. It's always nice. See what I mean? It's good to jump in and talk to the chat on a Talkie Tuesday. That's what I'm saying. This is like a hobby within my hobby now. Favorite sandwiches. See, we've got some questions, but the chat is already knocking the questions out the bag. Favorite sandwiches. That's a good one. Chat, what are your favorite sandwiches? What are your favorite sandwiches in the chat? That is a good question because there are many sandwiches. And does a baguette make a sandwich, or are we just talking sandwich? Like a good BLT. You know what I mean? Proper crispy bacon, nice juicy, a good BLT on some rye bread or something like that. I mean, how about just favorite sandwiches? What are your favorite sandwiches? Sandwiches, they're kind of like kebabs or burritos. They are, but they're like more like, they are kind of like kebabs or burritos, but they're more like sandwiches. Oh dear. Cheese and Branston, that is a top tier choice. Cheese, Jackass, cheese and yeah. I mean, we're talking about like a proper cheese with chunky Branston in maybe like a home cooked bread. So it's soft and fresh and boom. Proper chunky cheese and Branston. Oh, get that down your neck with half a glass of port on a Sunday. It'll be delicious. Delicious. Beef and cheese. That's a bit broad there. You see, beef and cheese, because you could have grilled beef with grilled cheese on top. Or, you know, even in Wolf Boot Chronicles, please change your name to Stylus. Please. I beg of thee. Is a bacon cheeseburger a sandwich? Well, in the same way that earlier on burritos and tacos were kind of like sandwiches, a bacon cheeseburger is kind of like a sandwich, Connor. But you know what's more like a sandwich than a bacon cheeseburger? A sandwich. So it depends where you draw that line. And hey, here we are being all creative together in a creative hobby, doing creative things. You draw the line where you want to. You could get creative with that line. Never turn down a French dry. Yeah, nice French. Dry port would be lovely. Hi, Portugal. Brie, cranberry and bacon comes in. Stylus from Wales. Brie with cranberry and bacon. Brie with cranberry and bacon. Best sandwich ever. Stylus. Stylus, where did they hurt you? Point to the teddy. Show me where they hurt you, Stylus. Best sandwich. Brie, cranberry and bacon. Something Portuguese bread, glass of red Portuguese red wine. Reuben's beef, Swiss. There's some Europeans in the chat talking long words and actually using ingredients rather than just cheese and Branston pickle. Saying things down here, so There we go. Thanks for raising the IQ in the room there. Nutter Malagu and blah, 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 blah. Cheese is nice though. Cheese is love. Cheese is life. Everyone likes cheese. Everything's better with cheese on it, isn't it? I mean, you can even get cheesecake. Continental savages. Continental intelligent savages, more like, I'll have you. Look at them using long words to talk about food that we could only ever dream of eating. Instead, we've got, look, Kev coming in with cheese and ham with salt and vinegar crisps. Up here, we've got Mr. Portugal talking about Portuguese things. Kev, I mean, cheese and ham. It's not, though, is it? It's mid. It's mid. It's cheese and ham. And Ahsoka is Australian, not European. But you like Swiss cheese. Okay. Australians, I mean, you guys do good sarnies. No one Thunder, you didn't miss much. I've barely done the intro yet. We're barely talking about what we really want to talk about. We got sidetracked by someone asking about top tier sandwiches, and now we're trying to decide the top tier sandwich actually. And I haven't had, I mean, a proper cheese and Branston on homemade baked bread is up there. Proper BLT is up there, and I haven't had anything better than that yet. Nowhere near close. But I like the segue. I mean, the nice sandwich, a proper nice sandwich with English mustard. What? And Branston. It's Branston or mustard. It's one or t'other. Chorizo Parmesan cheese with tortellino rocket and a basil salad. Thank you very much. Chorizo, that's right, with the yeah, and rocket and. It sounds like heresy. That sounds like heresy. I mean, no, that's heretical. You've put basil salad in there for a start. Salad on a pasty. Ask an Aussie, and a proper sandwich is going to have Vegemite. No, it's not. It's not, is it? Cheese and ham toasties are good too, though. Epic. Votan. Clearly people who have never dined on the finest salmon paste sandwiches. Salmon paste. You can take that salmon paste, okay, and feed it to my cat. Ugh. And what do you mean? Finest salmon paste. First, food in a paste. If food has to come in a paste, is it really food? You brush your teeth with paste. Food, you need to, get the little reptilian brain in on it. Enjoying the tearing of the flesh. Get all world eaters. French baguette, butter mayo, crispy batter chicken. We're getting there. I second Vegemite. Get out of here with your Vegemite. Marmite's good, but a Marmite sandwich, though is pretty damn solid, is not top tier. Double fried egg sandwich. Now we're talking. Double fried egg sandwich with chili sauce and chutney. Dude, if you invited me around your house and said, hey, turn up on Saturday, I'm making you a double fried egg sandwich with chili sauce and cut chutney, I'd say, where in the world are you? I'm coming. Chip shop butty is the champ. A chip shop butty is good. It's good with beer. It's good, but it's not. It's good. It's not mid. It's good. Bacon, egg, and cheese with hash browns and French toast for bread in a sandwich. Get out of here, Craven. What are you, American? Marmite, 11 out of 10. We're talking about Marmite and Vegemite, okay? It's definitely, there's a vote for it. There is a vote for Marmite / Vegemite. There's never, I mean, you love it or you hate it. There's never been anything close to that kind of taste sensation. But top tier. My female eats cheese on toast with Marmite. I've had cheese on toast with Marmite. You don't need a female to feed it to either. It's delicious. You put the Marmite and then the cheese on your toast. But we're talking about sandwiches. Sandwich, spam, egg, red Leicester cheese and brown sauce sandwiches. No. Craven is an American. See, I could tell it from that monstrosity of a sandwich that you made all the way up there, which had about 10 layers in it. You need a bucket to get to the bottom. What is it with Americans selling food in buckets, by the way? If food comes in a bucket, is it really food? Nathan, hello. Spam. Okay, yes. You may have won the sandwich war. Spam may be the tierest of sandwiches. Spam. Roast beef and horseradish. Nice. French stick. Yeah, but that's a French stick. It's not a sandwich, is it? Was the Marmite penance for something? Did you take the Emperor's name in favor? No, we love Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. And I'm one of those people who actually likes. I like flavoursome food, and Marmite's got that special flavour. Flavor? You know what I'm talking about. It's saucy. Where are we? Vegemite. Is it a cheap rip-off of Vegemite, which is also cheap? It doesn't. I mean, there's different types. Okay, it doesn't have to be Marmite or Vegemite. There is different unbranded types, and it's all pretty much the same thing. My understanding is it's yeast extract. It's not like they do much with it. Apparently you could make it, or I could make it. Well, I couldn't make it because I'm an idiot, but you might be able to make it because you are the chat and you are 53, 57, nay, brains bigger than I. Ah, dear, I'd take a bucket of sandwiches. I'd take a bucket of sandwiches as well, but it's not really. It's a bucket, isn't it? It's not on a plate. Here's a bucket of food. Can I have a plate, please? Or maybe in a nice little wrap. I'd rather have cake. Cake is a lie. Cake or death? Cake, please. Spam and Marmite toasty. Dear. Yes, well, welcome chat. Welcome to the Warhammer 40k live streams. Enjoyed the subs at March of Winters. March of Winters was lovely, wasn't it? So this year there are 2 confirmed events going. So if you're in the Discord, or if you're watching this in the VOD squad later, or if you are a subscriber who's wandered in from the broader battle reports, or even a non-subscriber that's wandered in from the outer warp of the YouTube sphere and made your way all the way down here and wondered if there was any events going on in Winter's Little World. Well, yes, there are. There's 2. There's a Horus Heresy event happening on the 23rd of June. It's 2 days to 2,500 points, being run by Just Craig, who's taken part in many Horus Heresy battle reports you've seen on the channel. Now, I'm going to that one. James from March of War is going to it. Sam Nash, who's been on the channel, is also going to it. So it's quite a few people who you may or may not have seen on the channel going to that event on the 23rd. One day. It's somewhere up north. No idea where it is. I've got my ticket for it. Thank you for your 9 months, Killer Krigsman. Enough time to make a baby. Yes, thank you. 9 months. We made a beautiful baby together. And then the week after that, on the 29th and 30th of June, is a 2-day event, 4 missions across 2 days at Firestorm in Cardiff. And that's a 40k event. And I'm going to that one as well. So on the Sunday and then the Saturday, Sunday, the following week, going to all these things, and I'm really looking forward to them. The 40k one and the Horus Heresy one equally. And so if those are the sort of things that are happening in the Discord sphere, inside the inner circle of the Winters SEO community, the 13th Fleet, legends one and all. So if you become a tier 2 channel member or higher, or if you are a tier 2 channel member and higher, then please check out the Discord for all the wonderful events, and I will see you at them. Tickets still available, I think, for most of them. Ah, dare. Yes, live, baby. Sasha V is in the chat. We are live, baby. I think I have a domestic clearance for the Cardiff too. Sullivan Gilbert, you've seen on the channel. He's coming. Killer Kriegsman, thank you for the biscuit fund. The chat of the evening. Thank you. I'm sad to say that I had half a packet of chocolate cookies, Maryland cookies, last night, and then I found another more than half a packet of chocolate bourbons, and I ate that as well. So I had more than a whole pack of biscuits in one sitting. Maryland chocolate chip cookies. But in my defense, we're not just talking about chocolate chip cookies, we're talking about Maryland chocolate chip cookies here. In my defense, come on now. And then later in the evening, nothing like dipping a chocolate bourbon into your brew, particularly if you didn't know you had the chocolate bourbons and you only found them and you thought, well, I've already eaten half a packet of chocolate chip Maryland cookies. Should I go down on these bourbon? And if I go down into these bourbon, will I be able to stop myself from hitting the bottom? And at some point in the evening, you think, I don't care. I don't care I know what the answer is. I don't care. If we're going in, we're going in hard. And I went in hard on all those cookies, yo. I smashed them up. I am the 2024 cookie smashing champion. See, the thing is, you don't stop eating when you feel full. You stop eating when you feel sad. But I didn't feel sad, so I just kept going. I kept going. I need to move my body more, you know. I don't get out much. This will go straight to my hips. Cookie smash, Captain. No shame. I ate 24 chocolate chip walnut on the road yesterday. Craven has already confirmed he was an American earlier on in the chat. And now he's doubly confirmed just how American he is, because yesterday on the road, 24 chocolate chip walnut on the road. What a G. Round of applause in the chat for Craven in the land of freedom, eating all the chocolate chip walnuts that you can get. It's amazing, man. That's probably like 24 chocolate chip walnuts, or probably all the chocolate chip walnuts that exist in Swansea. It's a very poor place, Swansea. They'd cost £1,000 each. In Portugal, at least, marmalade is a fruit preserve, not a jam. Well, thanks. Thanks for that piece of wisdom. There we go. We've all learned something. Again, our European cousins abroad, raising the IQ of everyone in the entire room by teaching us that marmalade is a fruit preserve and not a jam in Portugal. Craven is more than an American. He's an absolute lad. Off to make a sandwich now while I wait. Nice. He's an American trucker. Nice. Guns on the back of his rig. Playing Helldivers 2 on his PlayStation in the back of his rig at night. Spreading democracy from Super Earth. Solid and consistency. You can cut thin slices. I mean, are we still talking about marmalade? Not Tamalagao Manamala from Portugal. Can you please change your name at some point into something that words and into something that lips can form the sound of? Because Namtaligao is, well, I don't know what that is, but it's you know, I didn't go to the lip gymnastics last week, so I haven't worked out. Hard to get anything but snacks when I'm on the road. 14 hours a day. Legend. Yes, marmalade. Right. Okay, chat. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for popping by to this Talky Tuesday. What? We're trying to get onto the main topic. American Postman. Listen to you while walking and delivering. Some of us are fit. Thank you for your service. Delivering freedom news around America. Well done. Keeping democracy spreading across Super Earth in Helldivers 2. And some of us are fit because some of us leave the house. I need to move my body more. That's the thing I could ask you guys. Like, we'll get onto that. We'll get down to that. Like, Helldivers 2 has been pretty fun. There was a lot of waiting democratically to get it into the city. Yes, they were very successful, and it was hard to get into the service for a very long time. I haven't played Helldivers myself, but Craven, America, yes, Helldivers on your PlayStation every night. 14-hour trucker. He's got RPGs on the back rig, PlayStation under his big rig. After 14 hours of trucking, he's spreading democracy across the galaxy. Yeehaw. Love you, Craven. And you're also a member of the 13th. Clearly superior tastes. America. Yeah, hell yeah. So anyway, chat, thank you. Welcome along to the Talky Tuesday. Welcome to everyone in the Mug Club. If there's any Mug Club members who've joined recently, we're still at 48 members. We're an exclusive club. This evening, I wanted to gather you all here so we can ask. I have some questions, and maybe you can help me answer these together. So standing by. Ready for this one? First question, 40k rules question coming up. When is a character no longer leading a unit? So for rules purposes, when a character is leaving a unit, this rules applies, no longer applies. I mean, that's the most dumbest rule they've ever came up with. Well, it's not the dumbest, but it's the worst. It's the least well thought out, because they could have got round all this shenanigans that they have with, while this leads that, they get +1 to hit with This character has +1 to hit, and when they are part of a unit, that unit gets it too. And in all cases, just do that everywhere all the time for while this character has the ability to fall back, shoot, and charge and gives lethal hits. And while he joins a unit, that unit gains it too. That's a simple way of getting rid of it. It means those characters have always got those rules, and you think, that character does that, that character does that, that character does that. If I attach it to that, that unit does that. Simple way of playing. Also a simpler way for your opponents to read your army, because you'll get used to certain things doing certain things with certain characters doing certain things. But when is that character no longer leading a unit? And the reason why I asked this question is because I looked for the answer online, and I also asked the question in my last battle report, which you all watched, and thank you very much for everyone who's watched it. I asked that question in there, and I got like 5 different answers in the chat and also personal messages in the Discord and things. 5 different answers about when a character is not leading a unit. Everyone, there seems to be a consensus swinging in a certain direction, but I don't know what it is. When he's lost their respect. At the end of the turn after the unit was destroyed. Where does it say at the end of the turn? Once the attack sequence against the unit is finished. See, there's 2 answers there. At the end of the turn, is it? Or once the attack sequence is finished? You see, I can't find any rules that says that a character is no longer leading a unit at the end of a turn. I can't find any rules that say a character is no longer leading a unit at the end of any phase. In fact, I can't really find any rules that tell you when a character is no longer leading a unit. It's not specifically specified in the specifications. So Warhammer 40k is a dice roll by dice roll game. So what you roll a dice, you pick this guy to shoot that guy, and then you pick the next guy to shoot that guy, and then you pick the next guy to shoot that guy. But we do quick dice and do chunks of it. But really you're doing it one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. And I think that a character is no longer leading a unit when there isn't a unit left to lead. So as soon as the last person in the squad that the character was leading, the unit, is dead, when that person goes pum, then the character is no longer leading a unit, because there is no unit to lead. It happens then. Do we think that's the right interpretation of the rule? Because that's what I think the right interpretation of the rule is, but I'm not sure. So if anyone's read facts, if anyone has seen other things, then please put it in the rules. Because like I said, in the recent video, there was like 5 different responses, and there was already a bit of chat here. There's already one person says they agree. Do you agree with me? That's how I interpret it. Yeah, that's how I interpret it. There is no rule written anywhere that says when a character is no longer leading a unit. I can't find that anywhere. So when that character no longer has a unit to lead, because the unit is dead, as soon as that happens, that character is no longer leading a unit. So while this character is leading a unit, the unit gains a 4+, feel no pain. As soon as that unit's dead, that character doesn't have a 4 feel no pain, because that character is no longer leading a unit. It doesn't happen at the end of the turn. It doesn't happen at the end of a phase, because I can't find anywhere where it says it happens at the end of the turn or a phase. Chat, talk to me. What do we think? 1's in chat if you agree with my interpretation of it. And then if you don't, please write something else and let's discuss it, because I don't actually know. That's just what I think it is. But I also know that I am chronically wrong most of the time in most things. My wife is constantly telling me just how wrong I am. So, so I'm aware I might not be right in this. So rules as written or rules as interpreted, just ones, just... if you don't think I'm right, then what other interpretation or written is it? I'll try and find the actual wording, but the attacks are resolved once they're finished. The state of play is changed. Yeah. Wraith Raider Rules Guide. Wraith Raider Rules Guide. The Wraith Raider is here with Rules Guide. That's literally in his name. If anyone can find out, if anyone can really answer what the rule, or find out what the rule actually is, it's the rules guy himself. Wraith Rider, am I right? You're no longer leading a unit instantly. I've had a few 1s in the chat, and no one come back at me saying with any other version of the rule that they've seen or found. So that's one of the questions. I've got some questions. That's one of the questions. We'll dwell on this for a few more minutes while people are thinking it through and researching stuff. And if you've got any questions for me, throw me questions. We've generally played it as after the attack sequence. Yeah, as soon as the attack sequence ends and the unit is dead. So the question is, when the leader died, it's tough. One, who's to say they aren't leading themselves as well? Well, they're leading a unit and they're leading themselves. They're leading a unit of one. Yeah, I mean, no, that's not how the word leading works, though. The funny thing about auras is things are in range of their own aura. So that, yeah. But it actually says that in the aura rules. Things are in range of their own. So this allows reroll hit rolls of 1, so it gets rerolls hit rolls itself. It's, yeah, simplified, not simple. Come on now, 40k or Horus Heresy. What are we talking about? I'm talking about, now, Heresy I know the answer to, because Heresy, I know the answer to that one. We're talking about 40k, attaching characters to things. Because also in Heresy, the problem doesn't occur in Heresy, because in 40k, you attach a character to a unit. That unit gets a buff while the character's attached to the unit. When the unit dies, the buff goes, and also the buff typically affects the character, and the buff doesn't affect the character anymore because the character's no longer your leading the unit. That's a 40k thing. Heresy, a warlord or independent characters attaching to units or from units, it's not a buff you can turn on or off. It's a buff that the warlord confers all the time and will get it on their own all the time. It's part of their thing, which is how they should have written the rule for 40k, but they didn't because they didn't think it through. We can talk about food in the meantime. I know, right? I think we got further with the conversation about food. Never thought of it like that. Who's to say they aren't leading themselves as, yeah. So I think then you all agree with me, because I haven't heard any contrary things, and we can go on to question number 2, because tonight I've got some questions for my chat. So it's not as clear as in 9th, where the attack sequence was better spelled out, but here's the best I can do by way of interpretation and extrapolation. So I think Ray, the rules guy, is now writing out a bunch more stuff. Once acquiring the Warhammer 40k, Once acquiring the Warhammer 40k, they ascend from the unit. They get the Warhammer 40k and they ascend. Dear. You have rules Thursday, but it's a Tuesday. I know. Sorry. Maybe you could move your rules Thursday to rules Tuesday, and we could have a question and answer rules session every Tuesday. People could come round. Winter's question. Is that a good idea? Winter's, should I do one where, like, surgery, Winter's rule surgery, come to me and I'll answer your rules questions, because let's face it, I won this trophy once. Characters should retain the ability until it dead. Shouldn't lose the ability when the character, yeah, but it doesn't though. That's the thing. The character doesn't retain the ability. When the dudes die, character loses the ability in most cases. Sometimes it holds, but in most cases it says while it's leading a unit. In the shooting phase under making ranged attacks, where it says note that provided at least one model, which is about killing stuff you can't see, we can therefore assume the state of play. Yes. Stays the same until the sequence ends. Yes. And then once that sequence ends, so it could be before the end of the turn, you could have some more shooting to do. It could be before the end of the phase. When that sequence ends and that character is no longer leading that unit, that character might get shot at by other things from other angles, and the -1 to hit or the -1 to wound or the -1 suddenly no longer applies to them because they're no longer leading a unit. Because much as someone up there says, who's to say they aren't leading themselves as well? Much as some people like to think that, well, they get it all the time anyway. They don't. It's while they're leading stuff. Evening, Just Craig. Thanks for dropping in. We're asking questions. We just answered a question here tonight. So thank you, community, for helping me answer that question, and everyone who will watch this in the VOD squad afterwards. So the reason why I asked the question in the last battle report, like, when does the dude no longer lead the dude happen? The reason why, hello, friendly neighborhood inquisitor, we're going well, we're asking questions. No, Timothy, time at Doyard. So it could persist till the end of the phase. No, it could persist to the end of the phase, and that's the thing. In the comment section for the last 6 months, I've seen people say that lasts to the end of the phase, or I've seen 6 people say every now that lasts to the end of the turn, and it's a comment that comes and goes across the battle reports in 40k for the last year. He should have kept it. He shouldn't have kept it. And so that's why I was asking the community. And hello, Just Craig. Hello, friendly neighborhood inquisitor. We're answering questions and ask the community, when does the character, is the thing no longer leading the thing? And we've discovered it's as soon as the thing is no longer a thing and deaded at the end of the attack sequence. Which is why I was doing all along, I think. But I may have been led astray once or twice in a few battle reports from 1 or 2 very persistent comments. But we're moving on now. I'm going to stick with the ruling in the class. Thank you, chat. Please give yourself a warm round of applause. Warm round of applause for the new people who've jumped in, and warm round of applause for answering this difficult question. The first of the questions we're asking tonight, because I've got some questions. Someone already asked in the chat, top tier sandwich. And we agreed on a couple of top tier sandwiches. And there was some side angling going on, but we've got some more questions we can ask. What are the top 5, say top tier, top 5 models that Games Workshop have ever made? Top tier models, like hats off to the design, the imagination, the person who came up with that one. Like there's some that are just absolutely iconic now, like the Land Raider is 40k. And there's some that are absolutely stunning, like Be'lakor. But top 5, top tier Games Workshop models. What does my chat think they are? I'm interested, basically, on finding out where we are as a community, right, online right now. Top tier, Demon Fulgrim, Just Craig, bang, in there straight away. So we're finding out now as a community where we are, where do we think our top 5 models are of all time from Games Workshop? Where are we as a community? How loud can we make our voices? How high can we look? Can we find the greatness out there? Fluffy, nice. New Lionel Johnson, Original Nagash. Magnus and Morty are up there. Original Aspect Warriors. Admech Scatros. You mean the thing on stilts? Does it get more iconic than the Land Raider or the Dreadnought? I mean, is that a top tier? Are we automatically put in either the Land Raider or the iconic Venerable type pattern Dreadnought, boxy Dreadnought, as a top 5, top tier model of all time? I think we are. Belisarius, cool. Little Warlord Titan. See, the Warlord Titan with the dog face is quite... The Rhino is quite iconic as well. Just a classic Rhino, man. Great Unclean One. It's good. Top tier. Be'lakor. See, Be'lakor could be top tier. Terminators for me remain iconic. Terminators are iconic. The new Terminator sculpts look gorgeous, but you also, Terminators are so iconic that you can get different classes now. Tartarus Terminators, Cataphracti Terminators, and Terminators. The Land Raider is so iconic. I can't see them retiring it. They should never retire it. A Reaver Titan. Someone sees your Warlord Titan mark and raises a Reaver Titan. The Great Unclean One. 2 votes for the Great Unclean One. Slanesh Harp Lady dude his way out there. Boom, Demogorgon. That's a top tier, right? That's a top tier model. The guy, the harp, the thing, that's a top tier model. I tip my hat to you. Vesper Stingwing, Cheat Stealers, Nurglings, 40k Magnus and Mortarion, 30k Demon Fulgrim, that old world Tomb King, Bone, Dragon, Dominion, Sephons, Vespid, Stingwings, 2 votes for Stingwings. No on the Stingwings. No on the Stingwings. Go away, Stingwings. Reaver Titans are gorgeous. They are gorgeous. But is it better than a Warlord? Or better than a Warhound? What is your favourite pattern Titan? I mean, Warlords are just so damn sexy. They're so imposing. But I mean, the Reaver is the main line battle titan, and I like Reavers. Desolation Marines. So that's some idea of the top 5 models, huh? Okay. The epic size models stand out. Titans need a model rework. Change my mind. The Titans look good. I mean, you don't need a rework. You just bring new patterns out. There was the Mars pattern Warhound Titan, and then the pattern Warhound Titan that everyone knows. There's many different patterns of Titans. Don't need a rework. Lion coming back, looking like Charles Dance. Yeah, it's not top tier, is it? But I actually found the rule. Rules guy, you found it. Tagged you in Discord. Could you summarize it here? Warlords are sexy. Reavers are more common, believable. Vashtor is real good. Vashtor was good, but these. I was. The first time people saw Be'lakor, people were like, whoa. The first time people saw Vashtor, some people went, whoa, but some people went, what? It's a bit like Belisario's cool. I mean, he is a whoa. As far as tech priests go, there isn't really a better model in 30k or 40k depicting what a human can become, and they can become something like that, a very, very small part of a human strapped to this weapon machine. Yeah, that's pretty cool, but it wasn't a whoa like when Be'lakor dropped. People went whoa. They still make models like these now? Because everyone was beginning to think, there was a period of time where people began to think that Games Workshop were going a bit soft, and then the harp guy, Slanesh harp guy, turned up, and Be'lakor, and things like, okay, yeah, okay, right, you're still you underneath the skin. You've still got your spiky bits down in the corners. That's why we like the grim dark. Ah, dear. Necron Wraiths are pretty cool. Necron Wraiths are pretty cool, but meh. Jagatai that took silver, and yeah, the Jagatai that took silver at the Golden Demon last year. That model is incredible. I didn't see it. Dave, how dare you've taken a look at Chaos Gate Demon Noir. New Avatar was great. The new Avatar was great. Encircle Companions look good. The Black Templars new night things, because the Black Templars look like they've got their own specialist unit now, haven't they? And they're doing it with the Dark Angels. They've got their own specialist unit. Sly Marbo, good. Do we talk about the new Custodes model, which doesn't look good? He's a bit. They didn't think about that. They didn't think that one through, did they? Thoughts on Fulgrim Transcendent? Yes. When that came out, again, everyone was like, what? With the long wings coming out the back. First thought was, wow, that's incredible. Second thought we all had was, I'm going to break them wings. If I ever had that Fulgrim Transfigured model, look at, he's gorgeous, but those wings, they're going to get broken. And I hope, and when it's going through your brain, you're going to be thinking that, not hope, if when they get broken, they just get the snap. Maybe just one of them. Because the worst thing that can happen is the tumble and the shatter of those Fulgrim wings. Nightmare fuel, that. Nightmare fuel. The Fulgrim and the shatter of the falling and the shattering of Fulgrim's wings. Jay Young, thank you for joining the 13th. Thank you. Welcome to the fleet at Tier 3. Tier 3 membership gets you an extra battle report every single Winter's Wednesday. And you know what's coming tomorrow, Jay Young? You know what's coming tomorrow, Jay Young? On the Winter's Wednesday, exclusively for members. It's the return of the Penitent Forge. Haven't played my Adeptus Mechanicus in 3 years. The return of the Penitent Forge. Nothing screams 40k quite like a massive Gothic church on top of a tank. Indeed. Primarchs Lieutenant. Deathwing Knights, they're dope. Hi California. Winters paints himself green and asks us to redeem himself before the throne. Tomorrow night, exclusively for members, I paint myself green and ask you to redeem yourselves before the golden throne. Jump Pack Chaplain with the wings is classic. It is. Winter said my name. Hi, Jay Young. Hi. Thank you for joining the 13th. You're legend. Appreciate you. Appreciate any and all my members helping keep the lights on. Legends. Orc Green, my fave Space Marines model is definitely the Land Raider Redeemer. Land Raider Redeemer is a gorgeous model. So top tier models. I think Fulgrim can transfigured. See, it's easy though to say Primarchs, Magnus, Mortarion, Fulgrim transfigured. Mind you, it's not easy to say Primarchs as well because some of them, with the 30k range, aren't particularly good. But they did do a good job with Angron, Magnus, Mortarion. All three of those models do feel like Primarchs to me. I like them. Demogorgon, thank you for your 13th month. You got the special button again. Don't be afraid to abuse it. Dreadnoughts classic boxy Dreadnought. Again, Dreadnought's so popular, like Terminators are so popular, there's now multiple Terminator suits. Dreadnoughts are so popular, there's now multiple Dreadnought suits. That's how popular. That's how you can tell which are the stuff they really sell a lot of. Is there more than one pattern of that? That's been popular, and then not just popular for 10 years, but popular for 20 years, this stuff. And you'll see it. You'll see it. If you've been around the hobby long enough, in 10 years' time, Space Marines are going to have a lot of something. And you're like, oh, they sold lots of that, huh? The Spartan tank is the top Land Raider in my view. The Spartan tank is the top Land Raider, particularly in Horus Heresy, but not in 40k because it's lost the assault ramp rule. What? Why? Don't get it. Demon Angron was a bit underwhelming. You thought Demon Angron was a bit underwhelming? You didn't like his bulging wing biceps? I loved his bulging wing, but he couldn't have enough bulging wing biceps as far as I was concerned. Demon. Got to look the bulgy part. Got to be the Emperor's Champion. The Emperor's Champion is a sweet model. Assault Centurions, get out of here. Space Marines and Space Marines, get out of here. Winters, did you ever review that Fan-Made Astartes short film? I've seen a few Fan-Made Astartes short films. I think if you're referring to Astartes, well, actually, the way to answer your question is no. I haven't reviewed things. I don't. I answer questions if people ask, though. Proteus is the best because you can buy them 40k in Heresy. Yes. See, Leviathan Dreads are also gorgeous. See, Dreads, Leviathan Dreads, the chonky of chonky Dreads. Emperor's Champion is the pinnacle example of less is more. Yeah, you can get a lot of character from just a single character doing a dramatic pose. Lots of guard characters, even guys just loading mortars and other guys keeping their ears. You can get a lot of guard, you can get a lot of characterization out of humans because we are humans and you see them do responding in human ways, and therefore Emperor's Champions and Chapter Masters and people pointing, staring and screaming and jumping. You can get some very good single pose models out there, and I think the closer to human it is, the more relatable it is. Single pose model jumping Patriarch, not as exciting as single model posing jumping Berserker. Anything human. Have you checked out Space King yet, Winters? Have you checked out Space King yet, Winters? What are you talking about, Radiant Shadows? What is Space King yet? What are your thoughts on the start? I did that one. The Leviathan, yes, is good. Leviathan Dreads are the best Dreads. Yes, they are the best Dreads. Right. Thanks for stopping by this evening, chat. It's been entertaining so far. We've figured out what the top 5 models are, or at least the ones we shouted about most. Epic Votan, thank you for your 4 months. He's been around for a while, and I appreciate you being around. And you've made another milestone. Don't waste it by writing something pointless. Instead, I'm glad that you're here. Good. Not taking up any air. He's just here. He's just happy. He's just a supporter. And I appreciate you. Cheers, sir. New Asmodei model, no. I mean, it's nice, but I know. Yeah, no. From the pose thing, yes. From the pose is. I don't think it's the best one they've done, but yes, they've definitely got a feeling coming through the thing, haven't they? It's got a lot of feeling in it. It's nice. Votan vehicles are good. Landfort and Sagittal are good. Space King is new. Space King is a new animation that's heavily 40k inspired and completely ridiculous. Can highly recommend. Space King is a new animation that's heavily 40k inspired. But Viridian Shadows, your first name is Viridian, and we know that the Viridian star was Well, it was the spark that lit the fire that was the ruin storm that swallowed Imperium Secundus whole, so nothing could get in and nothing could get out, even an astropathic message. So I'm not sure I can listen to your recommendation, because it might lead me astray, lead me into darkness. Hi, Simply Warhammer Andy. Guys, check out Simply Warhammer on YouTube for Warhammer videos told simply and quickly in 5 minutes, so that we can all understand the things that Simply Warhammer from YouTube is simply trying to explain. I do like the ones though, because he goes to lots of events and then he'll come back for an event and said, right, here's my 5-minute breakdown of what happened at the event, and he'll talk it through, and it's very exciting. And he's very exciting. He's an exciting guy. He's been around many times, played him many times. He's like a happy beaver, jumping around all over the place, gnawing at the woodwork. Lovely guy. So 10 out of 10 would recommend. Viridian Shallows, I definitely will. Are you a Dune fan? Winter, seen the new movie? Not yet. Read books. I managed to get to about book 4 in a bit, but anyone who's actually tried to read Herbert knows that you don't really read Herbert. Instead, you go on his philosophical journey with him. And yes, characters aren't necessarily characters in their own right. Some of them are idea propagating machines. There are ideas pushing forward the curve, the narrative, the thing, encapsulated with Buffalo, Blood Buffalo. Thank you for the chat. I start my guard army because of the Lord Solar, Grimdark Theoden, King of Regal, robot horse with a real organic horse brain, charging Tyranids, 40k. Legend. Thank you for your chat. See? Individual models doing individual things, sat on top of a horse, doing the thing, start a guard army, all because of that one model. And that's what great models do. Great models make us go, wow, I need a whole army that looks like that. I'll tell you a great model. Thank you, Simply Warhammer Andy, as well, for your gifted. Thank you for gifting Legend. What was I going to say? Yes. Well, just like Blood Buffalo, I had a similar thing, which is I got, it's up there, because of the Tesseract Vault model when I saw it in the flesh for the very first time, which is, shame on me, I hadn't seen it in the flesh. It's been out for like 10, 15 years. Never actually seen one at a tournament, at an event, at a thing, anytime. Because who would bring a Tesseract Vault? Back when I went, it was like 5th and 6th edition, so I didn't see it for ages. I don't think it actually came out, the Tesseract Vault, until like late 6th. Anyway, saw it at Warhammer World. First time, Tesseract Vault on display, and the Necron stuff went, that's amazing. Collected Necrons, and here we are 10,000 points later. That's what a top tier model does. Anyway, chat, thanks for stopping by this evening. It's good, isn't it? We're answering some difficult questions, because I've got some questions and we've answered a couple now. It's been educational. And also, Portuguese has told us that marmalade is a preserve, not a jam, and something else. I haven't seen the new Dune movie yet. I haven't had time. I really want to go and see it. And the thing about me is I can go and see it Tuesday in the afternoon while most people are at work. So it's just about finding the window. Where are we now? Hear me now. I'm playing tomorrow. Rum 30k is coming up with a solo auxilia army, and we're doing Horus Heresy, and I'm going to unleash the Raven Guard on him and hunt down his HQs and slaughter them. Traitorous dogs. And yeah, it'd be good to get Solar Auxilia on the channel, because the new Solar Auxilia stuff is coming. And then the next day I'm going around Sultan's in the evening. We're not filming. And I'm trying out my AdMech again, because I'm trying to tip my toes in the AdMech, and he's going to throw the Leagues of Votan at them. Friday I'm hooking up with mate Alex. Saturday I'm playing Gravity. I think that's 30k as well. Sunday Steve Not Rob's coming, and then Monday I might be able to edit a video, because damn it, somewhere in there as well I've got to edit the video for Sunday, which I haven't done yet. What were we talking about? Injun Mordian Iron Guard was the first models I got back in the 90s. Spent my days getting decimated by Chaos Terminators as my local game store at the time. Guard doing their job distracting. I hear 90s Guard somewhere in that sentence, and I approve. Plan to start a 30k army next year. Guess at total cost for White Scars. Guess at total cost for White Scars with Khan. Total cost. Plan to start a 30k army next year. Guess at total cost for White Scars with Khan. You're going to want a lot of bikes. Well, there's 2 White Scars lists. And there's 2 White Scars methods of war. There's mounted attack, as fast as possible, lots of bikes, blah, blah, blah. Speeders, outriders, jet bikes, sky hunters, javelins, all of that, all the time. And then there's the foot-based lists, and the ones who've had their mounts taken away from them, I think they all get feel no pains. And they've got your Terminators and your Rhinos and your tactical squads and your basically your Terminators and the heavier stuff. You can do that way. They're being penitent. They've had their mounts taken away from them. They're exceptionally brave. Fight really hard to get their mounts back. And this rivalry and this shame thing in amongst the clans of the wastes of Chondis was very important in order to breed the strongest, toughest, fastest, swiftest warriors. So there's 2 types there. There's 2 rights of war for 30k White Scars. So if you're asking me the cost to do both, because you'll want both, because then sometimes you can do one or the other, or a blend of 2. And Quinn Jar of the White Scars, your named White Scars HQ, that can automatically pick Eben Kishik Terminators to outflank, and the unit that he's in outflank, and I think they gain line as well and score, I'm not sure. But the fact that he can just pick the turn on which he wants to outflank in, you're going to want all of them. You're looking at $1,000. You're looking at £1,000 if you were asking me the cost. Craven, our American trucker with the American flag, 14 miles a day, bringing freedom to the worlds of Helldivers 2. He's an absolute legend. Thank you for your 10 months. You've hit the milestone. Interrogator Chaplain got you into Dark Angels, and the Lord Contagion started me on Death Guard. That's why they make characters, right? That's why they make the lieutenants and the Asmodees and the dudes on the horses, because we look at it and we go, damn, now I need to buy a whole army. That's not terrible, honestly. So you could probably get a 3,000.30k army for about 400 quid, but it won't be the army you want to field, because you'll be doing it cheap with a couple of the big boxes and stuff. You're going White Scars. You need Sky Hunters, Outriders, Jetpack guys. And it's not an assault based army, just the Forge World ones with the Lancers that go in at strength 10, AP 1. I think they have reach 2 as well. They're your assault based ones, and maybe a HQ Outrider command squad. So have a command squad with the banner, chuck it in there, make them score, put a Primarchs Apothecary in there as well, give them feel no pain, put them on all Outrider bikes, ride them around all over the place with your Praetor, hitting stuff, bang. That's your assault unit, along with your couple of elites with their strength 10 AP1 Lances. But the White Scars, apart from that, which is suppressing, is a shooty list. They are fast, they are moving around you, and they do have hit and run, so you want Artificer Armor and Metal Bombs on all the bike sergeants, so you can clamp onto a vehicle and then go off another 2d6 plus 17 inches away. So you're a shooty army, and you assault to keep stuff back away from your shooty stuff, and then you zip forward and score at the end of the game and win in anything that has like Shatterstrike or Onslaught. It's good for you. Or then there's the Terminators in the outflank. But yeah, you can do it for 400, but to make the army sing and to make it fit the lore, then it's 600 for one, but you could do both for about 1,000. And if you did it that way in mind, it would be glorious, and it would look like White Scars. It would feel like White Scars to play with and play against. US dollars, say 1,200 in American money, because you've got import taxes as well, so maybe 1,400. Yeah, so we'll sit my friend's pro painter and Mongolian. He turned me on to the Scars Law, Blood Ninjas, 40k Scars, 30k Scars. Yeah, lots of clans, lots of inner rivalry. The right to ride was very important. So their foot base. See, one of the things people get wrong about White Scars Law is they think that they don't do much infantry, or if they did infantry, they'd have to restrict it. No, White Scars are a legion. They have as many infantry-bound forces as anyone else. And in fact, riding... Well, no, they have less. They have less than anyone else. But their composition, they have dreadnoughts, they have heavy army, they have all the things. Because they're a legion and they need to bring everything to crack the nut. And the guys that have to look after that shit lost their right to ride. And it makes them all a bit better. It makes them all a bit more competitive, a bit more... It's glorious law. What have you just done, Winters? I now really want White Scars Army. Dude, it's one of the ones I'm really looking forward to collect, because simply Warhammer. Andy, I know you've got Emperor's Children, you've got Alpha Legion, you've got Thousand Sons, and you've got another one, Death Guard. But yeah, the White Scars Law. See... White Scars Law, a lot of people think, oh, it's the Space Wolves that are really different from everyone else. Well, the White Scars are really different from everyone else in their culture. They also ignored the council's words at Nicaea, just like the Space Wolves did, but for completely other reasons. And the Iron Hands as well. The Iron Hands they're not chapter bound. Even on their home planet, it's not. They still fight each other on their home planet. Ferrus Manus had the Council of Dissent. You were supposed to disagree on purpose to all ideas presented to you, and make sure when you have ideas and present them, you would be disagreed with, because through disagreement, you would hammer the ideas into shape until they were the best version of themselves. And Olympus and Medusa, they kept hammering for 10,000 years. So the lore behind some of the legions is really deep and really... The Iron Hands isn't as well known, and the White Scars isn't as well known. Some people, I've seen comments and people saying, oh, you put dreadnoughts in a White Scars list, they shouldn't be there. It's like, what? You realize how many dreadnoughts they had? They had just as many dreadnoughts as anyone else. Yeah. But they certainly specialized in one way of war and held it in higher regard than any other. In the same way that the Raven Guard did, with their SAS behind-the-scenes stuff, and in the same way that the Imperial Fists or Ultramarines did. So, where are we? Hello, Go For It Painting. Welcome to the chat. Go For It Painting. The lore is incredible. Scars is such a good book. It is. Warhawk is one of the best books in the Siege of Terror sequence. Warhawk is epic. Hammering. Must be salamanders. They do like a hammering, the old salamanders. Foot Scars. Had the privilege of playing against a century of Foot Scars. It was a beautiful sight to behold, yeah. Yeah, they're trying to get back on their mounts, man. That's why they have... Is it Feel No Pain? I think they will get Feel No Pain. And they can all move quick anyway. So, hello. Welcome to this evening's live stream. I hope you're having a good time. I'm asking questions tonight. We've answered some questions. I've got some more questions to ask. Unless anyone's got any questions they want to ask me first. Like, wow. We can go on to the next one. I've literally brought a list, look. Not losing a unit, that one's written down. Top 5 40k models, that one's written down. Blood Buffalo, thank you for your donation. I appreciate you, buddy. For nerding on White Scars lore, A+, thank you. I could go deeper, but yeah, they're nice. They're nice, man. Where are we? What was Perturabo the most underrated Primarch? Was Perturabo the most underrated Primarch? In Perturabo's mind, Perturabo was the most underrated Primarch in Perturabo's mind. Yes. When you talk about truly underrated, then I assume you're thinking underrated by the Emperor's point of view or the wider Imperium's point of view. The most underrated from the wider Imperium's point of view would have probably been the Alpha Legion. No, it wouldn't. It's not probable. It would have been the Alpha Legion. Pert had a great chapter in the end of the Death Volume 3. He did. Are we going to see more of your Dark Angels army? No. I haven't got enough to fill 2,000 points of Dark Angels. And it was painted by Den of Imagination Paint Studios, the greatest paint studios in the Sol system. And Den are currently sending Backs and Sons of Horus for my 30k collection now. They're painting up some orcs to add to Murphy and his War, because I'm enjoying the orcs and I need some more of the new stuff. So I said, Den, here's some more new stuff. And they said on it, and they're painting it. But I have thought about adding to the Dark Angels so I can field up to 2,000 points of Dark Angels. Because I'd like to... Yes, me and you are on the same page. We're on the same page. So, Jay Young, I'm thinking about my Dark Angels army as well. But if I expand the Dark Angels army, that means I'm not expanding the 13th, because the 13th is Space Marines, but the Dark Angels are there. But the Dark Angels I can get someone else to paint, so I don't have to paint it myself. But what would I add to the Dark Angels is the question, because my Dark Angels right now is basically only a bunch of Blade Guard veterans and a bunch of Terminators. That's it. That's all I've got. That 2,000 point list now, if you pointed it up, one, I don't think you can legally field it, but two, when you last could, towards the end of it was about 1,400 points. It's literally 600 points cheaper. And they've all got an extra wound and extra toughness. It's crazy. No, extra invulnerable save and extra toughness. But what would I add to the Dark Angels? I was thinking about adding to the Dark Angels, since I've got a bunch of Terminators there and some Blade Guard veterans, it'd be nice to add a lot of Gravis. Like I have a Dark Angels force with the Terminators and Gravis everywhere. So we're talking about heavy intercessors, we're talking about jumpy boys, and we're talking about aggressors. Gravis. So not have any Space Marines on the field that are less than toughness 5. Have a tough army. Dreadnoughts. Maybe chuck some Dreadnoughts in there. A couple of Redemptor Dreadnoughts to back up some Terminators. Some Raven Wing is a great idea, but those sculpts need... They just, legended off the old bikes, right? They've legended off the old bikes. It's just a matter of time before the Raven Wing old bikes get legended off, right? So you say Raven Wing, and in any other Sunday, if they hadn't legended off a bunch of stuff, or if there was a new model thing of Raven Wing landing tomorrow, then yeah, Raven Wing, get the Raven Wing. But you know the Raven Wing are coming. It might be 6 months. Knowing Games Workshop, it'll probably be 6 years, or maybe somewhere in the middle, like in between 6 and 6, a couple of years. It'll be further down, and there'll be some Raven Wing, and they'll probably put them on speeders, and they'll look really cool. And then you won't want any of the old Raven Wing Dark Knights anymore, and you'll be a sad panda. And I know it's only a couple of years away, but by the time I actually get them and then start playing with them a few times on the things, and then it comes around sooner than you think. So I'm thinking Redemptors for the Dark Angels instead. Bikes, Sternguard, no. Wait until they release a new... I know, Warmaster... 13th, 11th will probably get a refresh of Raven. I mean, look, they've just refreshed the Terminators, right? And we've got rid of Tornadoes, Land Speeders, and Bikes from General Space Marines, but they exist in Dark Angels. So they're gonna get some new stuff, surely. It's gonna happen. Those sculpts are no longer... Sell new stuff. That's what they want to do. They're coming. Just when? Anyone's guess. Chat, I've got another question to ask you. Another question. We've done a few top fives this evening. I'd like to do another top five. Top five animals. Top five animals. I'll get us started. The shark. It was around during the time of the dinosaurs. It's still around now. Perfect killing machine. The shark. It's got to be up there in the top five animals. Mosquito. Mosquitoes killed more people than orcs. Mosquito's got to be up there with top five animal, you know? Tiger's got to be top tier. Damn, Run Diaries coming straight in with tigers. I mean, there's, yeah, tigers. Tigers, I mean, we like cats. Big cat, tigers, cats, elephant, owls. Cats, as Soka just goes cats. The evil overlord that is cats. Number one, cats. Top tier animals, just cats. A tiger isn't a cat, and all the other cats, just cats. I mean, cats ruled the internet, didn't they? They took over the internet. I think we all agree. In the internet war, cats won. Dick Sissel, says Big Tasty. Dick Sissel, it's a bird. Orangutan. Orangutans, particularly on the Discworld, the orangutan's a dude. He runs a library and everything. Mosquito, though, I'm getting no thumbs up here for not orcas. We can't put orcas in there. There was an orca that killed a shark the other day, which kind of knocks off my first top tier. I said top 5 tier animals. I threw up shark. One of the sharks got eaten by an orca. Mind you, that kind of propels the orca up the top tier list, doesn't it? I mean, that orca took on a shark. Great white ate it. It was all over the internet. Owls eat cats. Do they? Have you seen the size of my cat? He weighs like 7 kilos. An owl could try and pick up my cat. It would break its little paws. Owls have paws, don't they? This is another thing. Like, I asked the internet the other day on one of the videos, like, is corn a bean? And that was the Black Templars thing. And the whole internet was in agreement that corn is definitely not a bean. But that's all the internet could agree on. The internet could agree that corn is not a bean. The internet could not agree on exactly what corn was. Again, I've got like 7 different suggestions about what corn is. An animal, a mineral, a vegetable, a cereal, a rice, a thing. You just go to the comment section and have a look. It is not a bean, apparently, even though it sure looks like one. Orcas are awesome. Very intelligent and deadly. Rock, paper, scissors. Crocodiles. Crocodiles could be a top tier animal. Corn is a flake. It's a grain. Is it a grain? Are you sure it's a grain? It might not be a grain, you know. Someone said, wolf, only animals that take care of their wounded. And oh, nice, man. Wolf has got to be a top tier. Top tier animals. I go for wolf. I go for tiger. Still, I'm not going to orca. Orca is intelligent, though. Mosquito is up there. Platypus. It was made out of spare parts of other bits. Winters would love tier zoo from this. Yeah, what is exactly? Not the zoo. It's not a zoo tier. It's top tier. Top tier animal. Top tier animal. Elephant. Megalodon. Golden eagles are badass. Harpy eagles. Anglerfish. Anything fish. No, it's a fish. Hedgehogs. Hedgehogs are pretty dope, man. They look really cute. You know the cute small hedgehogs on the Instagram? Baby hedgehogs. All doing the curl. They look super cute. Corn is a fruit. You see, I've got corn is a fruit here. And up there, corn is a flake. Corn is a flake. Corn is a fruit. It was the same person. But... and then you'll get corn is a cereal. And then you'll get corn is a grain. And then you'll get corn is a something. No one understands. Honey badger. Viridian shallows. You dark star at the heart of the cow system. Honey badger. You may have just won the internet. Of course. A honey badger is a top tier animal. All hail the honey badger. Corn is a vegetable, fruit, and a grain. Get out of here. It's like you can't be three things at the same time. It's like this brick is liquid, gas, and solid all at the same time. Corn is not a vegetable, fruit, and a grain. But sharks are fish. Okay, that's a good point. Sharks are fish. But they've got great big pointy teeth. Sparrowhawk landing in your garden. Nice. Sharks are fish. Yes, sharks are fish. I know sharks are fish. Okay. Like I said at the start, you can rewind. It's back at the beginning somewhere that I'm mostly wrong. I think that was one of those occasions. Tatora, basically a pocket-sized dinosaur here in New Zealand. Tatora. Stuart Fields, we know, we've been here before. We're not even certain. See, tonight we're asking some questions, and we haven't even asked the question, does Australia and New Zealand even exist? Because we haven't really come to the conclusion yet whether Australia and New Zealand, the land down under, and then the bit hanging off the side. Let's face it, we're mainly talking about Australia. I know you're in New Zealand, but you're just the bit hanging off the side. We're not sure you exist. There's things all over the internet that says you don't exist because you'll be on the edge of the ice barrier that circumvents, that encloses the whole of the flat earth. Crows, ravens have intelligence of a 7-year-old. That means they're cleverer than me. Botanically, corn is a fruit just like tomatoes, but it isn't though, is it? Because earlier on it was a rice, a grain, a thing, a fruit, and a vegetable, and now we don't know what corn is. The internet doesn't know. You can go onto you could Wikipedia it, but it would lie if you don't listen to the internet. What the internet tells you about corn, okay? Corn is a bean. Don't listen to the internet. Don't tie it down in its lies. I'm starting the conspiracy theory, the revolution that corn is a bean. Sweet corn is a bean. Because it looks like bean. New Zealand is Australia's Taiwan. No, it's not really, is it? It's the bit just hanging off. They went there. It was the very edge of the world, and they had to go to the edge of the world to film something as awesomely mind-blowing for Lord of the Rings backdrop as that undiscovered country, which is the bit hanging off at the arse end of the world, which is New Zealand. They had to go there. And we're glad. I'm glad that you've got that bit hanging off, but is it really there? I'm not sure it exists. So when you talk about pocket-sized dinosaurs in New Zealand, dinosaurs don't exist in a country that doesn't exist. Probably. Okay, I'm convinced. It's a bean. Rise of the bean. Thank you, Stuart, for backing me up for Rise. Corn is a bean, particularly after a trash New Zealand legend. Oh dear. Lord of the Rings, Flight of the Con. Sean Bean. Bean is a corn. See? Bean is a corn. Corn is a bean. We're all happy. We can all get along, be friends here. It's fine. Top 5 animals. The honey badger won that one, didn't they? Top tier animal of all time. Honey badger won that one. Yeah. I was wondering if there's any other Heresy players in the chat, like simply Warhammer Andy and Just Craig, what you guys think about Artificer armor saves, because I quite like Artificer armor saves, and we're asking some questions this evening. And one of the questions I'd like to ask, throw it out to the Horus Heresy audience, if there's any in the chat. Do we like Artificer armor saves, or do we not like Artificer armor saves? I mean, I like them. I've got a rather strong opinion of them over time, but we don't have to talk about it. I'm just asking the questions. Do you like Artificer armor saves? I want to hear. You see, it's. Yes. Australia exists to make UK. Prices seem reasonable. I love Heresy. Currently utilizing my Solar Auxilia. I'm personally totally fine with Artificer. And you run Solar Auxilia. Good. I like them because the name is cool. That's as far as my knowledge goes. Stuart Fields. Artificer armor. I like it. I like the devastation of rolling one on real. Yes, the devastation of rolling a one. I mean, tanking a lot of saves on a 2-up isn't much different from tanking a lot of saves on a 3-up. And Artificer Armor, the guy sticks his head above the foxhole, takes 3 or 4 hits, puts it back down again. That's why you're tanking it. In the middle of a street, can be a bit tricky. But everyone has access to it as well, Artificer Armor. I hear people complaining about Artificer Armor and abusing Artificer Armor saves. But you can do it, I can do it, everyone can get it. It's available to everyone who runs Space Marines. So it's not like it's not unfair. Like Dreadnoughts, everyone can bring loads of... You can bring a Rite of War, which is just Dreadnoughts. But it's available to everyone. And, yeah. Nowadays, I think Heresy is easier to learn than 40k. How long? Oh, hi, Luton. Luton's in the chat. How long do you think it takes to learn Heresy versus base 40k? Base 40k is quicker to teach and learn. It's base 40k is quicker to teach and play without using any of the mission types, which is saying, hey, look, you've got an army, I've got an army, add up the points, let's go. Because it has less rules, interactions in it. And then once you're going with 40k, then you've got to learn how to do... Most people play the Leviathan mission deck, so then you've got to learn to play it a certain way. And then the depth of 40k is, what the hell are all these other armies and stratagems and everything that everyone... So it's easy to grab at the start, and it takes a long time to master 40k. Heresy, on the other hand, takes longer to learn at the beginning, but once you've got it, the learning curve is very short. Because once you've got 30k down, once I know what my army does, I know what your army does as well. There's no extra stratagems to learn, no extra... I'm using las cannons, you're using las cannons. I'm using fleet, feel no pain, deep strike. You're using hatred, pinning, leadership. You're using all the same stuff that I'm using. So it's a steeper curve by about... See, this is the thing. I reckon I could get someone... I reckon you could do an intro game of 40k and someone's got a relatively good idea by the end, and by the second game, 2 games of 40k, you can probably, right, okay, I've got this. I think I've got the idea of what's going on. If you're a good teacher at the end of the second game, no problem. Third game, they could probably get a little bit spicy. Heresy would take 1 game more. It would take 3 games for someone to feel more comfortable. 3 good talk games a week apart. Boom, boom, boom. By the end of the third one, you'd be like, right, yes, I'm beginning to feel this. And you'd get good at that one very quick. It's easier to get good at that quickly. 40k, it's harder to get good at that quickly. Also, 40k is very min-max and very easy to scale. So there's also some very easy, obvious lists that are all over the internet. And when the meta shifts, there's only a couple of lists each meta for each faction this time. If you want to lean heavily in, but that is a specific way of playing the game as well. Whereas Heresy is much wider. Okay, where are we? Lawmaster, yeah. Luton's in the chat, everyone. Don't forget to check out Luton09 YouTube channel. He did one recently on Black Shields, and it is hella good. Check out that one. It's a shame they didn't do like a short story of Mar, the Black Shield dude, the World Eatery guy. I forget his first name. And it was done all in those portrayal books and stuff. The big black books from Horus Heresy 1.0. Because there's a short story there begging to be told. At least he got his moment in the sun below the Saturnine wall. Oh yeah, I think I might make a Black Shields Heresy force. So my question was semi-related. They're talking about, I don't know if you heard, Luton, but they were talking about there's a new supplement coming. So, you know, like they've got supplements like this and supplements like the Cathonia book. There's a supplement coming out which is going to have Rite of Wars and ways of playing the Shattered Legions in there. So, and that's where that Mars coming. You're probably aware. You know everything. You are the Emperor of Mankind of Law. I am but the Malcador, the Sigillite of Law. But you sit upon the golden throne. Me, Me, I merely borrow the golden throne when you go out to give the boy a slap. Yeah. So it'll be very interesting to see what rules come out and Rite of Wars come out for force organization options in Heresy once that supplement comes out. And looking at the state of the last two supplements, I'm more apprehensive than positive. Like before these came out, it's like, but like the corrupted Emperor's Children demonic list is in almost every way worse than the loyalist lists that you can put together for Emperor's Children. It makes them suck. And in game sense, Fulgrim Transfigured isn't as good as normal Fulgrim on his own because he can attach to stuff and this thing can't. And there's all sorts of problems with that. Anyway, I don't hold out much hope, but I hold out a little bit of hope because you've got to hope a little bit, haven't you? Do you know what happened with my copy of that supplement? Cancelled, says Luton. I ordered it alongside the Rogue Trader book. Email months later, sorry mate, no book for you. Really? What, this one? This supplement? Maybe it will come back in stock. Luton, if you want this book, you can have this book. If this is the supplement that you're talking about. I have no need for this book. I will not be playing the missions in this book. There's a lot of this is another thing in this book, and one of the things that came out of the Horus Heresy tournament scene or event scene is the game can take a longer than 40k, so they chopped turns off of it. This book, you can have this book. I'll send it to you, or when we bump into each other, you can take it then. Up to you. You can have it. I don't need it. And there's a lot of missions in there that are 4 turns. This comes out of the event scene because you need to make the game shorter, so we'll do it for 4 turns. Why are there rules in here telling me to play my game less? I want rules for 8 turns. If I'm playing a game, I don't want it to end earlier. I've invested in painting and building and doing the things, and my friends coming around, and we've got drunk, and we've slathered ourselves in head to toe with marmalade jam, and we're about to play 40k, and then it's half a turn long, it's over, and it's just, I'll go home now, I'll just lick the jam off, and she'll wonder, whatever you do, why is it 4? Why can't it be 5 or 6? It's 4, and that annoys the crap out of me. Viridian chat, where are we? I'm just a collector of Warhams. I must secure them, covet them from my archive. You can have this one when you turn up. I don't need it. I have got rid of so much source material and so much stuff. It makes me sad now when I look back and see the costs of some of the things. eBay is a cruel, cruel mistress for some of the OG stuff, Winters introducing new tiers. His marmalade fetish. I missed the rolls 6th and 7th turns in 10th edition. Yeah, it went to 5, 6. It could go to 7th, couldn't it? Yeah, Heresy has got like on a 50-50. It goes for another turn. On 3 of the games, I think. And it's just nice. And I think War Allies is just 6 turns. You've got 6 turns for your nefarious plan to come to its fruition. Why would I want to go around my mate's house after setting up everything and playing 4 turns? I want to play 6. It just doesn't. So anyway, the supplement. Oh dear. It's been fun this evening, chat. I might ask you another question. Have you got any more questions for me? It's been fun this evening because this evening I had some questions to ask you and you jumped up and you answered the questions. So we've answered some questions, which is something that we've never done in the chat before. It's nice to ask in chat. If I could travel back in time, says Luton, I'd be telling 10-year-old me to buy those 40k 2nd edition box sets by the 100. I know, right? If I could travel back in time, I'd be telling my 10-year-old me not to get rid of all the Rogue Trader stuff he had. I couldn't buy up any more 2nd edition box sets because I didn't have any money then. But I could definitely not get rid of the stuff that I did have. What happened? Has there any news come out of Cardiff? I don't know what you're talking about. Whatever happened to Nigel Stillman? Don't know what you're talking about. Hello, Rick Shazam, the cameraman. I remember watching a fella called Winter save 13 out of 14 roll-offs. Is that for Artificer armor? Sometimes it happens. You just do it, and you do it, and you do it, and you do it. I think so. But yeah, tonight we've been asking some questions. We've discovered top tier animals. We've discovered some of our favorite 40k models. And now, the last question I had for you is, who is or who are the top tier Primarchs? Top tier. There's a few to choose from, but if you had to have like top 2 or 3, who would be the top tier Primarchs? So we can automatically exclude things like Angron. He's gone. And Ferrus Manus, because he lost his head, he couldn't be top tier. Let's be fair. If we're ditching the broken Angron out, we're also ditching out Ferrus Manus because he lost his head. If he was top tier, he wouldn't have made it. The Lion, I mean, that's a good question, the Last Imperial, lore-wise, or do we mean in a brawl? I mean, all round top tier. All round top tier, I'm saying. All round. Jagatai Khan. All round. Jagatai Khan. I mean, it was definitely one of the cool kids, right? There was a couple of Primarchs who you wouldn't mind hanging out with, like Korax or Khan. Or, I mean, even the Wolf King. But that's for a whole different reason. Or Alfarius. You know, Primarchs you could talk to. I mean, he's a cool kid. And in Warhawk, they don't do him dirty. But top tier, Primarch the Khan, Sanguinius, obviously Lionel Johnson. The Lion is great all-rounder, almost Warmaster. Sanguinius or the Lion. I mean, now you're talking top tier. Primarch of the First Legion, Sanguinius. Everyone likes Sanguinius, right? Reboot Guillotine. Robot. I mean, Robert, he's a great lad. He's doing well. He's got his own thing going on. But top tier, the Lion and Perturabo, Have a Pint, Horus or Kurz. Horus, I think. Dawn 2. Guilliman does seem to do the most for humanity. He's the most grounded, right? He is the most grounded. But Lion and Sanguinius are strong shouts. What about Horus himself? What about the Warmaster himself? If he hadn't been stabbed by a blade that was put there through the machinations of the demons and chaos, it basically created for that moment. Horus. Stab. If that hadn't happened, surely top tier Warmaster himself has to be there. He was a laugh a minute. Joked with his guys, slapped them on the back. Wasn't unafraid to promote from way down in the ranks. I mean, he pull Garvey or Loken all the way up. You know, even a line captain. Yeah, join the Mournival. The Emperor himself said Horus was the best. The Emperor planned it all along. Horus was his ambition made manifest. Yeah, that comes out in the Heresy, doesn't he? Like this guy Kurz exemplifies my father's this. Sanguinius exemplifies my father's courage. Dawn exemplifies my father's resolve. And what do you exemplify? And Horus says his ambition. Something like that. Whichever one makes the best cup of tea. The angel, obviously. I like yeah. I mean, Bobby G is a genius. Don't know what to make of his relationship with Yvrain. You wouldn't, would you? He's having secret time with a Xenos. Come on now. The Khan was pretty badass. The Khan was badass. Like I said, the Khan was a dude. You'd have liked to hang with him. And Alfarius, particularly if you read his Primarch novel. And Korax in Deliverance Lost. These are good dudes and Primarchs. Magnus is underrated. True heir to the Emperor. He was half blind, wasn't he? One eye always turned inwards. Yeah. Magnus is, to me, one of the clear examples, along with Lorgar and Angron, but Magnus is one of the clear examples of the overall plan of the Emperor when it comes to the Primarchs and the pacification of the entire galaxy. And there's a couple of smoking guns that prove that once the galaxy was pacified, the heresy was meant to happen as a self-cleansing exercise. Once Terra had been unified, the unification wars, 700 years, in the Outcast Dead, the Thunder Warrior in there, the Praetor Thunder Warrior, the banner bearer, forget his name, held the banner over. I mean, when he said his name, even the Outcast Dead, even the Crusader host went, "You're him? You're that guy?" 7 gold studs, 700 years. How long did the unification wars take? It took a long time to come up from absolute nothing. The bell curve, the curve at the start. Yeah. Anyway, how did I get onto him? Bugger. Outcast Dead. What was I talking about? Brain. Chat? What was I talking about? Anyone? Bueller? I forget what I was talking about. Flashbang has just gone off in my brain. I kept going down a side route to a side route to a side route to prove a point. And I got so far from the side routes. I forgot to renovate. Plan for the heresy. Yes. Plan for the heresy to take place and cleanse. Magnus was an example of the heresy being preordained. Yes. 700 years. Yeah. He cleansed away the Thunder Warriors back in the day. Once he had done, they'd done their part. No more Thunder Warriors required. Space Marines, same thing going to happen. Malcador says it in First Lord of the Imperium. And then you've got things like Magnus, Lorgar, Angron. The way, some clear examples of him just setting the pieces. Lorgar, kneel. Let's humiliate that guy. Let's build another whole temple / courtroom / amphitheater on Nikea to shame another son who he made in the image, who can't but help be magic persona. It's like, it's stage 2. It's like stage 1 was not let them out of the pods ever. But he had a plan in case that happened, and a plan in case that happened, and a plan in case. But he also had a plan if they stayed, and a plan for that, and a plan if it went that way, and a plan if it went that way, and a plan from here if it went that way, and a plan if it went that way. And Malcador called it the configurations. Yeah, Magnus, clear example of the heresy was preordained. Maybe not in that way. I mean, 2 of them didn't even make it to heresy. How unstable was the Primarch project? Well, one of them was by Mr. Russ, and the other one didn't manage to do the soul melding. Like Perturabo says to Fulgrim, like, we went back to Terra, we do our Oath of Moment. The Emperor says, yes, no problem. Oath of Moment, good. Off you go. And Fulgrim said, yes, I really enjoyed that moment, doing the Oath of Moment with Daddy. It was uplifting. And Perturabo said, I was absolutely terrified because one of us hasn't made it yet. One of us was also. So one of them died then. One of them, the execution of the things. There's 2 of them already didn't get to the heresy. It was already Kurz and his legion were falling apart by the time of the heresy. Angron, immediately, it was meant to burn itself out. That was one way down the configuration. Oh, Luton. Is it just me, but does anyone else think that he reveals it in the end of the death were a bit overhyped? I don't think there was anything that really shook me to my lore foundations we didn't already expect. Yeah, in the end of the death, they played it at the end. Games Workshop decided to play it rather close to their chest. And fair enough. There could have been a couple of lore earthquakes. It would have been lovely if it had turned out that it's been Horus on the Golden Throne all this time, and for 10,000 years people have been worshipping Horus, thinking it was the God Emperor of mankind, because he's been imprisoned on the throne, fueling it. It's some part of the thing, and the Emperor really died or something. Some twist like that would have been great. The fact that there was all sorts of twists, there's things that they could have done, but in the end they decided 1 minute. Even normal people know about the God Emperor of mankind and the Golden Throne. People have seen Space Marines. People have seen these memes are out there now. We better not touch that shit, particularly when Henry is coming along riding his white horse up the driveway, bringing all his lovely love with him. And Space Marine 2 is on the horizon as well. They decided, no, we'll not twist too much. I think that's what happened. There was a lot of very subtle nuances though, Luton. You're right. I do like the fact that Lillian Chase was there. I do like the fact that Foe gets away and he's cloning extraordinaire guy, right? And what happens in the Beckwin books, you know. But nothing that turned the world upside down, no. But you're absolutely right. But there could have been a couple of things, one or two things that turned the world upside down, or half a thing. Just half a, and then there'd have been those that read it and those that knew, oh, did you know this as well? You'd be like, aha. And then those that didn't. But yeah, I think they decided not to screw up their multi-billion-dollar franchise. They thought, no, you're just going to have to. And then there's the Easter eggs for those of us that know, and the longer, the breadcrumbs for the deeper narrative. I think you say it in your videos all the time, Luton, that to truly understand the lore of 40k, there really isn't a starting point, because you get a bit of lore from a codex over here which matches a book that you read 5 years ago, which also brings to mind a short story and a novella that you read about the Horus Heresy, which was set 10,000 years before, and you're like, aha, that means this. And that's one of the glorious things about the being so immersed in the lore, finding those little nuggets. I think the Beckwin books have more potential to check. Yes. The Late Yellow King, the Beckwin books. Really waiting for Dan to finish that. Yes, I've said it before. Gary Oldman was such a treat to associate with 40k. He would be. Gary Oldman doing Eisenhorn, for example, would be fantastic. Yes, it's why I find it funny that people talk about spoilers. The biggest spoiler in the whole of 40k is the first thing people know, which is the end of the... Yeah, you're right. The biggest spoiler in the whole of Warhammer 40k to someone new coming in is, oh, by the way, the Emperor's dead, sort of, and on a throne. It's called the Heresy. It went really ugly. It's like, oh, before you go and watch the movie Titanic, by the way, it sinks. Yeah. Heresy book series, 64 novels. Everyone knows the ending from the start. Yeah, man. And we still read it all, and we still loved it all, and we still going to read it again. Oh, dear. You got the Yellow King Rum Diaries, yeah. So the last two words in... So the Eisenhorn, Ravenor, then Eisenhorn versus Ravenor, which we've had Pariah, and then Beckwin. And we're waiting for book 3, but the last two words in book 2, Beckwin, was Constantin Valdor. Full stop, the end. And Constantin Valdor is the name of the Yellow King. And until that point, no one knew what happened to him after the Heresy. People who have read the Heresy knows that he stabs Abaddon and sees 10,000 years. The sword he has, the spear he has, the Apollonian spear, reveals to him the truth. It was given to him by the Emperor, because the Emperor, towards the end of the Horus Heresy, the Emperor was looking at Constantin Valdor and the Custodes, and he was feeling a little bit sorry for him. This is before he jettisoned that piece of his soul, which could feel compassion and things like that, in order to take on his son, Horus. He was feeling a bit sorry for old Valdor there, so he gave him the spear and said, look, you're not really all human, are you? Because you can't but not they can't but not follow the word of the emperor and do his bidding in all things. They are bred to be from the genes, from the coding upwards, to be utterly loyal to him, the best custodians, bodyguards, things, pals, high-fiving, book club, sharing members ever. So they're not all there on purpose. So he gives them the spear and says, look, when you stab people, the more you use this, the more you butt your bread with it, the more you'll learn. And this will make you more of, this will give you some of the truth, some of the answers that you crave. And Valdor, at the end of the Heresy, knows what's coming. And Valdor, through the power of the spear that the God Emperor of mankind himself made himself and gave to his most loyal son, because he's essentially a Primarch, here you go, boom, gave him the knowledge of the future. And he's the Yellow King. And I've been saying it in live streams for a while. We've had the Lion, we've had Guilliman, Angron's come back, we've got Fulgrim, they're all coming back. Constantine Valdor in 40k is coming. And then other Primarchs will be coming. The Lion turned up. They've found out that the Heresy makes money. So much money that that book series span off its entire own plastic model range and game. It hasn't happened that way before. What happens is the plastic model range and game comes along. And then from that, you get books and video games and stuff and things. It isn't like the plastic model range, the books and the video games and the things make an entire plastic range. That's what happened this way around. That's how popular the Primarchs and the Heresy was. They're all coming back to 40k bit by bit by bit over the next few years. Except for maybe the ones that are dead. But now we don't even know if Horus is dead. Is he dead? I think he's dead. I think when he said, I wait for you and I forgive you, I think the I wait for you is, I think he's talking to Pearson. I think. Winders, we should find a way to create a custom rules law accurate 40k game. You can have a 4,000 point guard army or bring a single custody. Yeah, thanks, Luton. Imagine that. A custody versus 4,000 guard. That's about right. Go. Horus is coming back. Sanguinius is coming back. Or maybe the ones that aren't. That's what I mean. The dead ones like Horus, Sanguinius, Kurz, Ferrus Manus. Damn it. Who's the other one? Brain. You know, the dead ones. Those are the four. Sanguinius, Horus, Kurz, Ferrus. Yeah. The dead. They'll bring them all back bit by bit. Those four might come back with a twist and a nod and a thing and a short. Yeah, they'll come back. We've got the Lion, we've got Guilliman. How long until we see the Wolf King return? Or Jagatai Khan return? Or Vulcan? Vulcan lives. Vulcan lives. Big box range. Boom. Bit of lore. 11th edition. They're coming back. We get the Psychic Awakening has occurred. The Heresy was a chapter in a 30,000 year war that lasts 30,000 years before and has continued 10,000 years after that chapter ended, and we're now onto the next chapter of the Great War. Only the Necrons are here and the Tyranids are here as well, so things might get a bit messy. If they bring back all the Primarchs, 40k will basically become Coronation Street. I hope never to live to see the day. They're coming back, Luke, and I'm sorry they're coming back. They sell and they're in the business of making money. But that's why I think Dan Abnett and we're doing the Dawn of Fire series. I think there's going to be an intention to bring some life to this era of 40k that we're in now. Like they need to pull it together with some series. And I think I've heard that on the interwebs or seen that in interviews and stuff. There is an intention. There's something coming. Yeah. As a Blood Angels fanboy, the end of the death was lovely. Definitive, sanguineous explanation. Volume 3 told us what they see specifically at the Black Rage. No twists. Giving more lore. Done. Yeah, they literally feel and see it happen to them. Anyway, been lovely this evening. I've run out my coffee. And I run out my water and I get parched after chatting away. And I've been chatting away for nearly 2 hours, hour and 45 minutes. So this is your 2-minute warning. Thank you, everyone who jumped in the chat. And thank you, everyone. If you're in the VOD club, VOD squad, and watching this afterwards, if you're in the VOD squad and watching this afterwards, do say hi. I see you say hi afterwards. I appreciate you. Liam T has been a member for 12 months. Legend. I would love What If series in 40k where they explore divergent plot lines from the canon. Divergent lore. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they need to do that because there's a lot of fan stuff like the Dornian Heresy, and someone was doing there's a different Heresy as well. There's some fan stuff. There's some fan stuff you can find. I don't want Games Workshop to detract from focusing on the stuff they really need to focus on, which is there's a lot of loose threads. For so long, we had no loose threads. We just had question marks. Like, was the Emperor really a human or not? We didn't know before the Horus Heresy. Maybe it was something else. We had loads of questions, but we didn't have loads of threads. Now we've got threads everywhere. Good evening, Viridium. We're going, Viridium. Stuart Fields, the Yellow King is likely a reference to the 1981 book of old fantasy horror. I really need to sift through it. Yeah. 1895. Nice. Nachos, burritos, yes. If everyone lives, there's no stakes, no interest. Even if a Primarch sells it, can yes. Well, yes. But no one ever really dies. Nerd. Nerd. I love the fact that it's no one ever. It's so cool. But yeah, Calgar can't die. These guys, no one can really die. And even if they do die, then if they do die, you can play. It's like, what is it? Lamartes. You can do them before Fallen and not Fallen. Like if Calgar. See, this is the thing in the not the Pariah Nexus, the Nakman Gauntlet series that they do. Calgar got stabbed through both of his hearts by Abaddon in the battle for the Nakman Gauntlet. Both of his hearts. And he lived. He got better. He wasn't dead. He was just mostly dead because he had Primarchified. Primarissa MacGuffined both of his hearts. I thought, nice. They're moving the narrative forward. We're going to get a dead Guilliman and Marneus Calgar, sorry. Both hearts. Marneus Calgar killed by Abaddon, Nakman Gauntlet. Brilliant. Let's move the lore forward. Guilliman's dead. We're going to need another chapter master for the Ultramarines. But you could still play Guilliman in your Ultramarine force. Of course you can. You can play Guilliman like this is before he was stabbed. It's like you can play Ferrus Manus and Horus Heresy, which is weird because that means playing him before Isfahan 5, before he had his head cut off on Isfahan 5, and before Isfahan 5 there wasn't really a heresy. So you're playing an alternative version if you buy Ferrus Manus and set him up. It's basically, if you're an Iron Hands 30k player, you have no narrative rationale for buying Ferrus Manus. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. And I'm saying this with a heavy heart because I don't think I'll ever get Ferrus Manus, even though 2024 is the year of Iron Hands 4 30k for me. Look, they were next to me. We're working on them as we speak. Yeah. Luton. The problem with the current moving forward law is they can't really do anything big because it means they would have to reduce the minis people can use, sort of. I don't think... Yeah, I know, yeah. But wouldn't it be good if they nuked a species or two like the Eldar? Just like nuke them. And then what they could do is slowly introduce a new model range, which is obviously better than the Eldar, obviously. And then they don't have to, they can reduce their model range by nuking the whole Eldar. That would work. Yeah. Then they'd probably do an old world on it, and suddenly the Eldar will be back in hotness 10 years, 15 years later. The Eldar are back now. They weren't really all nuked. There was some hiding in the webway, and now they're back. And then, Yeah, I mean, if Urain achieved their goals and destroyed Slaanesh, they'd have to say, sorry, no Slaanesh in real space, in our space. But in the warp, gods are eternal. I mean, even if, actually killed it and tore it apart, then the essence that is Slaanesh would be... There'd be other... It's a reflection. There'd be other... disparate bits. Instead of this thing, wrench it, that a patchwork, a collage of other things would pull and start to coalesce. Maybe Slanesh is a heartbeat that explodes into existence every couple of millions of years and rips the galaxy apart with the Great Rift. Because it turns out that the Great Rift, the nails on the tablecloth that held it down, that Abaddon picked during his 13 Great Crusades, Black Crusades, it looks like it's ripped open before and has been nailed down before. And maybe Slanesh beats into life. Maybe she beat into life during the First War in Heaven, and maybe she beat into life with the death exhalation of the Eldar, the death and birth scream, and maybe it'll happen again, because in the warp it is eternal and it coalesces and reforms. I don't know, I love that sort of stuff. Who knows? Eternal, question mark. You and time, Luton, do another video about time in the warp. Time in the warp. There's 4 different ways of looking at it. It's brilliant. Brilliant stuff. That's why we love you, by the way, because you can't just do a video about here's the warp and here are the bad things in it. No, it's here's the warp, here are the bad things in it, and now let's discuss the metaphysical nature of what is time. Why are we all here? Brilliant stuff. Oh dear. Anyway. Your poor old brain is why we love you. The random things it's the thing that the hobbyists, we're all thinking the same things, or many of us are thinking similar things, and then when it's like if you're sat in a room with your mate and you're painting away and you're doing some stuff, and one of them turns to you and said, hey, did you know that in the warp time, right, you could see it as this way instead of this way, and you'd be like, all right, and you'd have that. It's that conversation that we have all the time with each other, and it's those moments that mean the lore videos aren't just lore videos, they're also conversation pieces with the community, which is why you are the lore master. So don't forget to check out Luton09 on the thing, on the tubes. Andy should become a physics professor as well. He's clearly done his research. I thank you for all joining me and things. Yes, okay, that was fun. I'll see you next Tuesday. Should I? I can't end with that, can I? I'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks for dropping by. Happy wargaming.